If your pension scheme has failed and your benefits have gone into something called the Pension Protection Fund, you may be thinking, where is my pension pot? Can I move it? Can I use drawdown like everyone else? And this is where many people get a shock, because what you have now is not a pension pot, and you cannot access it in the way most people expect. And if you don't understand this properly, you can make decisions that cost you thousands in tax, or worse, decisions you can't undo. So in this video, I'm going to explain very clearly what the Pension Protection Fund actually is, why it is completely different from drawdown, what income you can take and what you cannot, and how the 2026-27 tax rules quietly affect you. Hello, it's Angie and this is UK Money Wisdom. I've worked in accounting across public finance and private business for over 25 years, and today I'm going to simplify something that many people find incredibly confusing, and that is the Pension Protection Fund and why it is not drawdown. First, we are going to look at the big misconception. Most people think, my pension is my money, I can access it. And that is true for defined contributions pensions like SIPPs. But if your scheme has entered the Pension Protection Fund, PPF for short, you are in a completely different situation. So, what is PPF? The PPF is a statutory safety net. It exists to protect people when their employer collapses, their defined benefit pension scheme fails. Instead of losing everything, the PPF steps in and pays compensation. Now we need to look at the critical distinction between defined benefit, that's DB, versus defined contributions, or DC. Here's the difference. Look at this table. With the PPF, you do not own a pot. Instead, you have a right to income. Let's move on to the core message, PPF versus drawdown. This is the most important line in the whole video, and that is you cannot use drawdown inside the PPF. You see, drawdown only applies to personal pensions, SIPPs, and defined contribution schemes. The PPF is a scheme-based income system. Think of it like this, as explained in terms of income versus capital, shown in this table. What this actually means in real life is, with drawdown, you have a pot of money, that's capital. You choose how much to take, and you choose when to take it. You are in control. With the PPF, the scheme calculates your pension, and you are paid a set income at set intervals. The system is in control. And why this matters is you cannot take extra cash when you want, cannot change the amount each year. You cannot withdraw large lump sums freely. You simply receive a regular structured income based on scheme rules. Here is a one-line takeaway to remember. Drawdown equals flexible money you control. PPF equals fixed income you receive. Now let me explain the transfer lock. This is the point of no return. When a scheme enters the PPF, it goes into an assessment period. During this time, transfers are frozen, decisions are restricted, and once fully transferred, in practice, you cannot transfer out. So we need to understand all about the flexibility question. If you want flexible withdrawals, large lump sums, tax planning control, the PPF does not provide this. You may, however, still choose when to start your compensation, but rules apply and early access reduces income. Did you know about this important point regarding the lump sum? You can usually take a tax-free lump sum, but taking this reduces your future income due to the early retirement impact. Because if taken early, your pension is actuarially reduced. That means lower annual income and permanently lower. Then there is the 100% versus 90% rule shown in this table. And why does the 90% feel worse? Well, it's not just about a 10% cut. You may also face compensation caps, although now removed and replaced by structural reductions and lower inflation increases. And here's an important 2026 clarification. While the compensation cap was abolished in 2022, the 90% rule still applies, and this is what creates the real-world gap most people feel. You may have heard how court rulings, like the Hampshire ruling pensions and the Bauer ruling pensions, have influenced how limits apply. These rulings ensured members should not receive less than 50% of expected benefits, strengthening protection but not restoring full scheme value. People also ask about inflation protection. PPF increases are often lower than original schemes, especially for older pension rights. There are survivor benefits, though. Typically around 50% continues to a partner. And it's worth knowing about ill health cases. If you are already receiving ill health pension, you may receive more favourable treatment. Now, this is where things get serious with the 2026-27 tax trap. We know that a full state pension in 2026-27 is £241 per week. That's £12,548 per year. Look at this worked example. You have the state pension of £12,548, PPF income £5,000, so total income is £17,548. Now your personal allowance, as we know, is frozen at £12,570, and that leaves a taxable amount of £4,978, which is taxed at 20% and amounts to £995.60. In 2026, even a small PPF top-up turns you into a taxpayer. You're not just losing 10% through PPF rules, you're losing another 20% of what remains to HMRC. And it's all to do with fiscal drag and the frozen personal allowance problem. Your personal allowance is £12,570, and that leaves just £22 approximately spare. Let's move on to look at the tax code impact. The moment you receive PPF income, you are immediately into taxable income territory. Many people then see 1257L, the standard code, BR, OT and K codes. Now, K codes are especially important. They appear when your state pension or other income exceeds your allowance, meaning tax is effectively collected in advance through PAYE, and there can often be tax code shocks, which creates confusion and often temporary overtaxation. Because if you have multiple pensions, it's important to know that you can still use drawdown elsewhere. For example, an SIPP or a personal pension, alongside PPF income. Let's look at state pension age versus scheme age. These two ages sound similar, but they are completely different things. In this table, you can see what this means in practice. The state pension age, which was set up by the government, is when you can claim your state pension. And it's currently rising, that is moving towards 67. The scheme pension age is set by your pension scheme. And the scheme pension age, that's the PPF or DB scheme, this is where your workplace pension is designed to start, set by the rules of your pension scheme, often 60 or 65, but varies. And this is built into the scheme. And why this matters and catches people out is that these two ages do not have to match. So you can have situations like you start your PPF income at 65, but your state pension only starts at 67. Or you delay your PPF pension, but still receive state pension later. And the key financial impact is taking your scheme pension earlier than its normal age reduces your income, and that's the actuarial reduction. And waiting for state pension doesn't affect your scheme rules. Here is a simple way to remember. State pension age equals government timing, but scheme age equals pension rule timing. They run alongside each other, not together. So the advice here is check your status. You must confirm, are you still in assessment or fully in the PPF? This changes everything. And do not confuse the Financial Assistance Scheme, FAS, with the PPF. It's a different scheme with different rules. In 2026, you now have this addition, the Making Tax Digital MTD context. If your total income exceeds £50,000 and includes PPF income plus other sources like rental income, you may fall under Making Tax Digital MTD requirements from 2026. This means digital record keeping and quarterly updates to HMRC. Here are your action steps. Step 1. Get your PPF benefits statement. Step 2. Run a 2026-27 tax calculation. And here is a final summary table. You see, the Pension Protection Fund gives you security and guaranteed income, but not flexibility or access to capital. So your strategy must change from control to planning around certainty. Once you understand this clearly, you stop chasing flexibility that doesn't exist and start making better, safer decisions. I have an important question here for you. Are you currently in the assessment period or already receiving payments? Because the rules change significantly between the two. Do let me know in the comments. This content is for general information only and is not personal financial advice, but it's based on current UK tax and pension rules and public guidance for the 2026-27 tax year. And do remember, individual circumstances do vary and rules can change. If you found this video useful to you, then please subscribe and like to be sure to receive my videos. And if you wouldn't mind sharing with somebody who could well use this information, that would be good also. I'm Angie, and this is UK Money Wisdom. I'll see you all again soon. In the meantime, it's goodbye.